What's good, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about toxic versus good managers. I'm going to be talking about some of the traits that make your manager a toxic one, so you can tell if you have a toxic manager. And then I'm going to be bringing up some of the good traits that will assure you that your manager is a good manager, whether you're new at Amazon or whether you've been here for a while. I'm pretty sure you can relate to some of these things. Also, in the last video, I did say that I would be changing the color to the background. I'm filming this on that same day, so I'm not going to be able to read the comments just yet, but either in Friday's video or next week's video, I will be able to show you guys the new color. Whichever one was picked, I'm not sure, but let's get straight into the video. And we're going to get started off with the toxic traits first. I'm going to be talking about 4 different traits that are basically proof that your manager is toxic and then you might not have the best manager at Amazon. And I'm starting off with number 1, which is they don't consider roadblocks in rate. Now, what I mean by this is that everyone has this problem before. Whether you are in pack or whether you are in stow or even pick or whatever it is, you have roadblocks eventually, whether that is amnesty on the floor, somebody doing andons, whether that is you're missing item in pack or just anything like that. There's a bunch of different things that can happen that'll cause problems and roadblocks. And that can affect your rate. Sometimes you'll get a really bad rate because of that. Sometimes your managers will come up to you and talk to you and say, hey, why was your rate really bad at this point? Or maybe why were you not working for this like 7-minute period or however long it was? Because sometimes it takes like amnesty. When they're working on the floor, especially in stow, sometimes it could take like 10 minutes for them to work on whatever they're working on. And so you're not getting any pods for 10 minutes. And sometimes managers don't consider that. Managers don't care. And if your manager doesn't care, even if they come up and ask you like, hey, why weren't you working for like this 8-minute period? If they come up and ask you and you're like, oh, well, amnesty was working on the floor. If you tell them that and they still don't take that as a valid excuse and they still write you up, that is a toxic manager. Those who basically completely ignore the fact that roadblocks are extremely common at Amazon and can cause a lot of problems that aren't your problem, that aren't because of you and you're not doing this. It's not your fault, but some managers don't care. And the managers who will still write you up even though you had a bunch of roadblocks that day, those are very toxic managers. Number 2 on the toxic traits, they take TOT or break compliance way too serious. There are some managers who just take TOT way too serious. I even had a manager, I think this was like my 3rd manager working at Amazon. I had a manager that considered your breaks as TOT. So your first break, the whole 30 minutes was considered as TOT. And then the second one was considered as TOT as well, which literally didn't make sense. It's a break. How is that time off task when I'm taking a break? She considered it TOT for whatever reason. I have no idea why, but she took TOT way too serious. It was to the point where she was handing out stacks of paper every single day for all of her employees and saying, you're gonna get written up for TOT this day, you're gonna get written TOT for that day, and sign this, sign that. And she would be handing out stacks every single day, and she was the only manager, and to this day she has been the only manager that I've ever seen in Amazon take TOT that serious. And it was super toxic, and there was people getting written up left and right from her for TOT. I was written up for her from TOT, and it just made no sense at all why she considered breaks as TOT and why she took them so serious. But there's also those who take break compliance way too serious. For those who don't know what break compliance is, or for those who don't know what TOT is, it's time off task, time that you're not spent working. But for those who don't know what break compliance is, it is when you come back late from break. Sometimes I've come back, I think like 1 minute late from break. I think this was my 2nd week. I actually got written up for coming back, I think it was like 30 seconds or a minute late from break. I was supposed to be there like at 10:30 as an example, and I was back I think at like 10:31, and I got written up for break compliance. I don't know why, but some managers take break compliance extremely serious. Even the non-scan to scan breaks, like the breaks that you clock out for, some of the managers still take that way too serious. And unfortunately, I was written up for that before, and that's how you can tell you have a really toxic manager. If your manager takes break compliance extremely serious and doesn't even consider the fact that sometimes it takes multiple minutes, sometimes like up to like 7 minutes for a pod to come to your station once you sign in. Especially if you're in stow, the pods take forever. Some managers don't consider that at all, and they'll write you up for break compliance like it's nothing. And the managers who take break compliance and TOT way too serious are extremely toxic. Next up on toxic versus good managers, number 3 on the toxic side, it is the ones that are out to fire you. The ones who will just get you for anything and are literally looking to just write you up as much as possible. That manager that I said that did the TOT write-ups, that was one of those managers. They are just out to fire you. They will get you in trouble for any little thing. Those are very toxic managers. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because there's not much more to say. The ones who are out to fire you though, very toxic. Now number 4, I have the managers that only talk to you when they have a laptop in their hand. These are the managers that won't greet you, they won't say hello or good morning, they won't talk to you at all, they won't bother like telling you hi, how's your day going, or they won't ask you like what you're doing or like how your day is or anything like that. They will not talk to you unless they have a laptop in their hand and they're looking at whether it's your rate, or they're going to talk to you about basically anything. The managers that will just sit there on their laptop the entire time, and they'll only talk to you if they have a laptop in their hand. Extremely toxic. It really makes you feel like a number when they do that, and it's just like, that's a horrible manager. You're making your employees feel like crap. You're making them feel like you don't care about them at all, outside of them just being a straight number. And there's a lot of managers like that who will only come and talk to you when they have a laptop in their hand. That is a very toxic trait. But that is all of the toxic traits. Let me know down in the comments below if you have any ideas or suggestions for toxic traits that you would leave down there, like anything that you've seen from your managers that you see is very toxic. Let me know down in the comments below. But now I'm going to get on to the good traits that pretty much make a good manager. Number 1 on good traits for managers, that is the managers that understand roadblocks and will excuse them. I've had managers that were really cool and really nice, and I've had a lot of roadblocks. I've fallen below the 5% because of roadblocks. I've had break compliance really bad because of roadblocks. I've had TOT because of roadblocks. And I've had really good managers who stepped up and said, hey, what's going on? I told them what happened, they understood, and they wrote off the write-up, or they excused me, or they coded the system. And it's really cool. There's a lot of managers like that, and it's really nice of them to do that. And that's what makes a good manager, those who understand that you can't do everything perfectly. You can't always hit rate. You can't like always follow the break compliance rules. You can't always do these things. It's not possible to do that all the time. And a lot of the managers, a lot of them are good, and they'll straight up let you off the hook. And those are some nice managers. They'll understand your problems. And number 2 on the good traits for good managers, pretty much, that is the managers that understand which roles you do and don't like. And what I mean by this is that some managers are really cool with you, and if they know you don't like water spider, they won't make you do water spider. They won't even bother asking you to do water spider. I have a few managers like that in my facility. They know that I don't like doing water spider, and they'll never ask me because they're nice, they're cool with it, and they understand this person doesn't like doing this position, let's not have him do it. And then like other managers as well, they'll know that you only like doing stow, or they know that you do stow but you like to do pack sometimes too, and they'll go ahead and send you to pack when it's possible. Sometimes you'll just get a good manager like that is understanding that you don't like a certain position and that you don't want to do that position, so they don't make you. There's a lot of good managers out there like that who understand that sometimes you just do or don't like a position, and they won't force you to do anything you don't like. Those are good managers, because there's a lot of toxic managers that don't care at all, and if they need you as a water spider, they don't care how much you hate it, they're gonna make you do it. That is a very toxic manager right there. Number 3 on the good managers, those are the ones who encourage your rate without making you feel like a number. I've had a few managers like this, and it's kind of hard to give an example because it's been a while since I've had a manager like this, but there's been a few managers or even PAs who will encourage you to meet your rate. They'll come up and talk to you, and they'll be like, hey, you're doing really good today. If you want to step it up a little bit, you can hit this rate. And you can tell that they're not trying to force us to hit that rate. They're just kind of encouraging us and telling us we're doing really good. And they're not trying to make you feel like a number either. They're making you feel like a human being, and they're saying you can improve on this or anything like that. And they're just giving good examples and making you feel good overall. The managers who do that, compared to the managers who just send messages on your screen saying you need to pick it up, or you need to stow faster, or hey, meet this goal and we'll give you some candy. The managers that are doing that are toxic. But the managers who can make you want to do better at your job and encourage you to do better while still making you feel like a human and not a number, those are good managers, and I really approve of these managers, and that is definitely a good trait of a manager. Let me know down in the comments below if you've had managers like that that'll encourage you to like basically hit your rate or even do better than that, but won't make you feel like they're forcing you to do it, or they're gonna get mad at you if you don't do it, or that they're just trying to be toxic overall about the whole rate thing. So if you've had anything like that, comment down below. But with that being said, I'm going on with number 4. This is the last one and the most simple one ever that makes a good trait for a good manager. That is the one that respects you. I have had a lot of managers at Amazon that I just feel like didn't respect me at all, especially like the first few batches that I had of managers. They were really bad, and I've felt very disrespected by a lot of managers. All it takes is some simple respect towards your employee to make them feel better. And I've had a lot of managers who were toxic, but the ones that do respect you, the ones who are doing the bare minimum by respecting you, those are good managers, I guess, because that makes a good trait of managers. That is a good trait of a good manager. And the ones who will do that for you, I'm thankful for them, because I've had a lot of poor experiences with managers at Amazon. So I'm very thankful for the ones who have those good traits of being able to respect you. And again, it is the bare minimum, don't get me wrong. Respecting your employees is probably the bare minimum you can do as a manager, but there's a lot out there and you'd be surprised. There's a lot out there who don't do that. So I'm gonna put that in at number 4, the managers who respect you. And that's pretty much the end of this list. Let me know down in the comments below if there's any good traits or any like bad traits that you would put out there that make your manager a good manager or a toxic manager. Let me know down in the comments below if there's anything that I'm missing. I'll probably do another one of these videos again as well. But with that being said, I'm going to end that there. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, leave a like on this video, subscribe down below if you haven't already as well, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. I love you all. Peace.